All right, everyone, we are back with the next episode of the Raiders Rambles. I am Jolt, chief host of the show, and this week, I won't be having my co-host Avira. He's absent at the moment, and I wish him well wherever he is. And so, with us this week on the panel, we have our interim host Noble.
Re.
That sound takes me back. I wonder why. All right, good to have you back on again.
Yeah.
Next on the show, we have Styfior.
Hello, crawled out of the pit once again.
Is there something you want to say aside from that?
Well, I mean, there's always plenty to say, depending on what's going on in the given day.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Okay. Well, why don't you write that out now? No more bells.
So
Bitch.
what's the defining anyway?
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
it took a brand new drawing tablet to write that message, but it was all worth it.
Very expensive joke, why not?
Breaking a new toy.
Oh, yes. Got
That's
home from
always
work.
fun.
Was it yesterday? What day is it today? Is it? No, yes. No,
It's
Friday.
Friday.
Yes, it was yesterday when I got home from work and it was there.
Yeah, and you've lost track of time now just writing that. But no.
It's just every day merges into one with this job.
Yeah. Just to repeat that again for our listeners, no more bells, bitch.
No more bells. Biatch.
All right. Now, last of all, we are finally joined by Beowulf.
Jack of all trades, master of none, actually master of absolutely nothing, I'm pretty sure at this point, but, whatever.
Oh, I can relate, Guys want me to do everything. I get good at it. And that's really it, where it just starts and ends.
Yep. Hey, do this thing. Oh, okay. And then you're never asked to do that thing again, even though you learned how to do that thing.
Yeah.
The eternal struggle.
You want to get good at something, but you only get so good at something.
Yep, pretty much.
That's it, alright? Yeah, but it's good to have you on again.
Good to be back.
As ever. So, let's get started on the show, shall we? I know this has been a long time in the making, that we've just never got around to it, but, we have some news and some not so good news. So first, the Twitters is about to become more of a dumpster fire than it already is.
I mean, is that even possible?
Well, I mean, considering the person who took over from Dorsey, yeah, no, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and look at the, Parag Agrawal's opening line. Why should I distinguish between white people and racists?
What? What?
This is the new CEO, for your information.
Sorry, but the literal idea of only white people can be racist is a little racist.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilariously wrong, too.
And again, this is the person who's in charge of Twitter. Again, look at that
now
hypocrisy.
actually has the reins of Twitter, rather than just being someone who's on a board of something.
Yeah.
So, is he going to try to get all people in India to use Facebook or something now?
Well, stop calling it Facebook for one. It's now called the Metaverse.
I thought it was just meta.
Yeah.
It's a bit of everything. It's a pile of shite.
And basically, in 2022, you won't have in face-to-face interactions. Everything will be done in virtual reality. and you'll basically be nothing but your own virtual face on the board.
I've been on Second Life.
I thought you were talking about last year, but I guess.
I've been on Second Life for like the last 15 years. Explain the difference.
One is made by a Giga Corporation. One's made by a bunch of people in some country.
Spaghetti code!
Yeah, pretty much.
So, what befalls Twitter now?
Be prepared to be blocked by everyone, and removed from your platform because you're a racist.
There's actually a lot more as well. Didn't they say they're gonna put a ban on memes now?
Yeah.
I think Facebook been trying to do that for like 30 years, though.
Something really important that seems to go completely over the company's head and the CEO's head and whoever's in charge head. If people are getting negative feedback from something, there are two possibilities. One, they're dead shit wrong and they probably need to pull their head out of their ass, which I should take those words seriously. Or two, you are actually getting trolled, bullied, and harassed. Those are the two possibilities for getting a lot of shit against you for saying something. So why can't you take that feedback?
Because the feels. You're hurting someone's feels, therefore you're a bad guy.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's
I'm sorry your opinions don't matter.
If someone has
mine.
If someone has a bottle of arsenic and they go, "This will make a great cake. I'm going to bake this into a cake." And you get all these shit comments about how you're an idiot, what are you doing, you're stupid, why would you be drinking arsenic? Don't you think you might want to look into that a second time and not just go, "Oh, this looks like it might be tasty"?
You would think so, but modern society suggests that if one person says that it's perfectly fine, you just listen to that one person.
I guess that means we're going to be adding lead back into wine then.
I might as well.
Sounds like fun.
Well, it does actually make it sweeter, so,
I mean, there's a trade-off for everything, right? So,
I mean, if we went back to leaded fuel, I'm pretty sure that we'd actually make fuel economy a lot better.
Well, I was about to say, we've bring back lead.
We are still seeing the aftermath of that little number.
Speaking of fuel, though, I'm basically, facing highway robbery at fuel prices down here.
Yeah, that's been going
the
up.
most popular president in history for that.
But we're Australian, not American.
Yeah, but
it
down
doesn't
here in
matter
my
what
case,
happens in the United States affects the world.
Yeah. And again, in my case, just supply shortages, and I'm basically facing the prospect of paying almost $2 a liter for a liter of petrol down here, which in freedom bucks would equate to nearly $7 of my own money for a gallon. Roundabout.
You're paying like California prices.
Oh yeah.
And to think at one point the US were invading the US because of the oil being so cheap.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I remember before Mr. Trump left office, I was paying $1.28 a gallon.
So, what else happening with Twit?
Well, not much. Apparently, they also decided to ban the sharing. Oh, have a look at this.
Of personal information
without consent, because their justification is the misuse of private media can affect everyone, but can have a disproportionate effect on women, activists, dissidents, and members of minority communities.
I'm sorry, but what's an activist? Because most people I see with the activist logo are nothing but actual terrorists.
Yeah, or they have those real little red roses on their little Twitter thingo.
Basically, if they have unnaturally colored hair, I would imagine they're also an activist.
Oh, I see. Those people are in town all the time.
Yeah, and what the fuck is a dissident in the modern day, right?
Yeah.
It's not, it's not one of those people who cover up their faces and say, fuck America, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, hey, You're free to do that.
You know what surprises me is the literal amount of people out there in that sort of mindset that always give you that evil eye.
Hmm.
No, I swear, there was some black dude yesterday walking down the street and he gives me this like horrible stare and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, the dude was walking around a dress and I didn't give him any mind, so I'm pretty sure he was offended by that. The only thing that made me actually look at him was the fact that he gave me this evil eye, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah,
Holy shit!
you weren't going up and bowing and worshiping this person. Therefore,
Yeah,
you were committing a terrorist act against him.
my break was almost over. I wanted to get back to work, not there.
Not get accosted and and him basically going full Karen for something that you might have done or not done.
I don't know, but this sort of shit just bellows out over onto Twitter anyway.
Oh,
And it
Twitter is
explodes.
literally the cesspool of woke opinions anymore.
Well, this is where the negative feedback comes into effect with Twitter and where they seem to fail the most at trying to prevent.
I don't think they want to try and prevent that stuff. They
they
just
want to
actually
remove
want
the
it.
people who
They
are
want to
arguing
encourage
against it.
Yeah,
They
pretty
want to
much.
encourage this behavior, which is really bad. I mean, you had Facebook's whole let's try and control people's feelings, which they were successful at with news. And they got a study for that too, which was just fucking psychotic. But the problem is people go post this negative sort of stuff on Twitter, on Facebook, or wherever, and you'll have people encouraging that sort of behavior, and you get this negative feedback loop, which just leads to things like
Worse.
high blood pressure. So you can eventually just drop dead.
No pods required, but we'll get to that in a second. But I mean, I do definitely agree with you, and I want to touch on just before we wrap up this little segment, this last thing here. And here's an interesting thing. According to Jack, the now former CEO of Twitter, staying woke meant looking at the world with your own eyes, sharing what you saw, and judging it for yourself.
Yet that's kind of the opposite of what woke people actually do.
I mean, it kind of is, but what's missing was context. Yeah. And again, what woke people actually do, of course, go around, virtue signal to puff themselves up, and just and basically carry an inherently inverted value system.
I horribly regret not buying a packet of Uncle Ben's rice before it changed. Just to
Okay.
freak the woke people out.
Uncle Ben's, Aunt Jemima, Land O'Lakes. Land
I mean,
O'Lakes one really confused me, to be completely fair.
The problem I found is that most woke people seem to act and not actually think. It's like the definition of thinking is so traumatic to them that it's too scary.
They just basically
Yeah,
in their own little bubble, really is what it is.
Yeah, outside of their little tiny bubble that, really necessarily may not be a good option for them. Well, they like that little bubble. And they like, the people who scream and yell at people for drinking the wrong drink at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Or going to a wrong restaurant, even.
I suppose it's a good thing that Twitter is then failing, because if this company ends up sort of going under and gets bought by Disney, so I had to go there. I had to go there, but this may end up being one less platform for them to fester off and grow.
It could be a blessing in disguise. We may never know. Yeah.
Well,
live action.
No, just maybe towards the end of our lifespans.
Twitter crashing in the next 5 years, I think that would be very good.
I mean, did you see what happened when Facebook crashed? For like an hour?
Yeah. See, this is what happens when people get addicted to something, but people don't usually look at the internet as a drug.
Until it goes down, and then everyone loses their mind.
It's like when the power goes out here, I go for a walk for about an hour and then come back. And if it's on, it's like, yay. If it's not, okay, what's going on? I mean, you can't do that with the internet. People just don't know how to live without it. It's funny.
I think it's unfortunate.
Here,
Yeah, it's a
Well,
fact that
sorry.
internet's just become a thing of necessity in the modern world to a certain degree.
and governments are only making it more of a necessity.
Right.
What I find interesting is that there are people out there who believe Facebook is the internet and Twitter's like the other thing.
The other internet.
Yeah, I believe there's people that stupid.
Yeah. But aside from
Stupid
that,
or
though,
indoctrinated.
true. That's pretty much what it is, though. But at the end of the day, though, really nothing of value is going to be lost. So again, if you do value your sanity,
fire in 2016.
just stay off of Twitter and I guess do what Noble does if the electricity of the internet cuts out. Return to monkey.
Bad, Jolt, bad.
It works for some people.
I mean, for me, it doesn't work because my internet's crap, and the general thing is, my power goes out. It's because there's something bad going on. So you're not going to go out for a walk.
Not unless circumstances being what they
It's
are.
either an ice storm, a blizzard, or like a lightning storm or tornado. So that's my options for what's happening outside when I lose power.
Well, if you're in South Africa, you can just simply go down the road. When you see the people who are digging up the infrastructure, you can just shoot them all.
I mean,
Yeah,
don't
well,
even have
if
service at
you're
that
in South
point.
Africa, you're basically going to get yourself shot.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You're liable to get shot no matter what's happening.
The ultimate form of Twitter racism. South Africa.
Yeah, that's basically where Twitter's going to be in like 10
That's
years.
That's it. You hear it right there. So, now that depressing stuff aside, next thing that I did want to catch up on that I never got around to is this item here. Now, we did talk about the collapse of the Notre Dame in an episode, back in 2019, what happened, and now they're planning to rebuild the Notre Dame into the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris to become a woke Disneyland theme park, according to
Oh,
the
God.
renovation plans.
Okay, look, I'm not Christian or anything, but fuck no. Sorry, I can't censor myself with that, but just there is nothing else to describe how pissed this makes me.
I mean,
That's just
it's
stupid.
the Catholic Church.
It's a religious icon. It shouldn't be. I don't even want to think of
I
it.
fully agree with you. It should be restored to the way that it was.
Yes.
But that's not probably going to happen because, Europe is... If people call the United States a dumpster fire, Europe is many times worse.
Right. And again, like there was people, I saw just a lot of the fallout too, and like Paris has seen better days. I know this much. And and just imagine that too. Like if that was just right there, like right in the middle of Paris, like with all those historical buildings. It just looks so jarring, out of place, and devoid of all of its heritage.
What I would say is the height of humanity at this point would be to restore that building to the way it was. I don't care if it's a church. It is old, and it should be respected and not treated as some, spare of the moment thing. Then 10 years from now, it will probably be shunned upon. I'm sorry, but what about the people who actually use the church itself? I highly doubt they would want, to go to a theme park on their days of gathering. It just, I can't comprehend this.
Well, we know what's coming next. That Anne Frank experience, sponsored by Disney.
Oh no! But actually, that's wish. That is very, very funny, but wishful thinking. Really, it's just there was a
Jolt,
yeah.
boombox.
Alrighty. Okay, let's have a read of this. It needs a hunchback.
I'm easily amused.
Yeah, I think it just feels like everything is all connected. What this movie, this thing. Oh, now the church burns down. Oh, I feel like this is all like a saying. For the time we live in.
There is no norm.
Yeah. So here's what the plans for the Notre Dame are going to be like. The cathedral may have its interior become a politically correct quote unquote theme park. With
Oh,
parts of
God,
the building's interior that were left mostly untouched by the fire to change dramatically.
that just sounds awful. Anything politically correct just
Politically
sounds
correct
awful.
is like this word vomit for we're gonna change it to what we want it to be.
Yeah, and in like what 5 months later, it'll be considered horribly racist.
And incorrect regardless, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, they'd literally have to wipe out everything Christian based from that in order to make it politically correct.
Yes, they do, and you're right. And that brings us to the next segment here. Confessional boxes, altars, and classical statues are to be replaced with modern art murals, while light and sound effects will be added to be buildings in order to create so-called emotional spaces.
It sounds like these dumb shits have no idea about the way these churches were built and why.
It's like I don't know. Like, listen, I don't know what it is, but you have an identity crisis. Do you want to be a theme park or or a therapy clinic?
Look, for anyone who hasn't actually been in a church that's built with a high roof, it has its purpose. It's not meant to be filled with stupid shit. It's meant to like make a feeling of awe and grandeur. It's not. No.
No. And ultimately, it's like somebody did say was about to say Disney did something with Notre Dame, but this is what's now is not it. It's not what we're looking for.
So the question I have to ask is the Disney part, is that in the title as an idea, or is the actual Disney Corporation itself having something to do with it?
Well, in what we've got so far, it's a leaked plan, and no.
I think it's in quotations as in like it's gonna be Disneyland for millennials.
Yes, with a
In a
veneer, with a fake
cathedral.
veneer, with like a fake veneer of Christianity.
There won't even be a veneer. It's just the building
It just
is
won't.
the only thing that's gonna be you're gonna have any resemblance of what it used to be. And even then, I bet
Yeah.
they'll change the exterior enough that it won't even look like the building it was.
Can you imagine if they had like a Daredevil section?
Like what? What are you thinking? Like basically, uh, a high speed lift up to the top of the chapel.
Or a segment with like a statue or something and props from the movie, that sort of shit.
Yeah, let's do a motorcycle ride all the way, a spiral all the way to the top of the bell tower.
Yeah, that's why. All the way up to the bell tower on one side, then you zip line to the other side and go down a spiral on the other side.
Look, if I had the capabilities and I was comfortable with travel, that church, prior to its, well, partial destruction, was one of the places I wanted to visit as it was.
Yeah,
Not because I'm Christian, because it's literally an ancient symbol, not an ancient symbol, but
it's a historical symbol of culture, and and it,
exactly.
what and it, what it's what made France France. Pure
It's
simple.
like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. And another live comment. Controversial, but I think it sums up how I'm feeling. Alex says, anyone who destroys traditional architecture should be shot in the face with a paintball gun. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
some people would like to go further, but what do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I
you
can
know,
ag-
Yeah, I mean,
paintball gun, I can agree with, but taking violence against someone because of their like what they how they say like something like this, I'd be more inclined to basically argue in a court of law versus just walking around with a paintball gun and shooting people with it.
Right, but that's just ultimately, how I feel about this is just, yes, yeah, of course, I'm outraged about this, being Christian myself, and I'm just going to boil it down to this: is that Disney, they flat out, these people, in Disney and all that, they just hate Christ, they hate Christianity, and they basically want to see all of that wiped from the face of the planet.
I would argue that they probably want to go even farther than that, because if you even garnered a random look at some of the crap that's come out from Disney on Disney Plus, I mean, no, I'll pass.
Yeah.
I mean, how would like woke people feel if a bunch of Christians went into a safe space and put up all their like some flags, statue of Christ, and a whole bunch of other stuff?
They would basically have like a total
a
meltdown, and you can see the demons basically coming out of them.
Are we talking like full on head rotating 360 degrees and crawling up on a wall?
Probably some
Or...
of them.
Oh, I do
Probably
believe in
some
demonic
of them.
possession.
Sorry, I just have to. Oh, think of the church as a safe space for Christians. For the modern idiots out there who can't understand why we've got a problem with this. I'm sorry, but I see this as desecration.
Don't be sorry to see it as desecration. That's exactly what it is.
That would be the lightest term that I would use with it.
Yeah, it's sacrilege, destruction of things, and it's pure evil.
I wonder what the Pope thinks of this.
He's probably along with it, because the Pope's frickin' as corrupt as anyone.
Yeah, Francis would go along with it, man. He's basically in the pockets of the devil.
Boy. I think we would have been better off with Rowan Atkinson as the Pope then.
A Mr. Bean Pope. Now that would be something.
Sorry, I just keep going back to that image of him dressed up as the Pope.
And to be honest with you, I'd rather take him and friggin' Francis.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, that's gonna wrap that up. And so we are gonna come through to the fun part of this show. Oh, before we do, live comment, Ali, thanks for tuning in. Lord help for woke people. Well, yeah, it's very much a wishful thought, but I think ultimately what I want to say to this is, it just starts with, it all begins with repentance from wokeness. That is all.
And it ends with finally giving up the bells.
You had to go there. Oh.
All good. So, I know this is going to take us back a few years. And who here watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the live action one?
I did.
I watched it at the cinema too.
I didn't see it in the cinema, I just watched it.
Beowulf?
I did not.
That's okay.
It did not catch my interest.
Credit where it's due, it actually turned out to be quite good, especially if you took some time to really redo the designs and really cater to the fans.
I think that's why it performed as well as it did.
That's
because they actually listened and changed everything.
And you know what? And because of that, it really did quite well at the box office to the point where it warranted another sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And now, they're actually crowing about it. So, Sonic the Hedgehog is getting another movie, another live action movie with the same, same Sonic, same cast as well, and yeah, April 8th, 2022. That's what's happening.
I really want to go and watch this at the cinema. What I like about the trailer, though, uh, Sonic seems to be melded in with the actual filming better than he was in the first one. But then again, all things considered, it was a quick rework. Sorry.
Hmm. Yeah, so they probably had a lot more time to spend on it with this model rather than having to just quickly redo it all.
Well, it's more the lighting effects they had.
Hmm.
I have
I
to admit,
think
I love Robotnik. What they did with him.
they've actually ramped up the production values. I'm with you on that one too.
Well, all things considered, I mean, for an origin story, I like how they did Eggman because having him having an actual origin for him, that was nice. And this one, they really toned it up, but I really wish they had him fat.
I don't know, man. You have to ask, if Jim Carrey is willing to gain weight.
Well, he wouldn't have to; just have to wear like a bloated suit or something.
Oh yeah. And, you know, about being what they are, I'm so glad they still kept the same cast, same directors,
Hmm.
same artistic direction. And I gotta admit, even seeing the little secret scene at the very end of the Sonic movie was quite the treat.
Oh yeah, and though for a while they weren't even sure if that was going to happen. But the
Yeah.
robots definitely take me back to the cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, like, you know what? It was also a real surprise too. Well, we weren't expecting Knuckles, but now here he
Hmm.
is.
Oh yes, we were. There was a photo released early on where
Yeah,
Well,
he's like
yeah,
a
didn't we all?
statuette.
Yeah, we all saw
Shielded.
the photo where
Yeah.
someone was holding it in a very weird position.
Oh yeah.
how to handle these mannequins
Yeah.
properly.
I would like if they keep Knuckles' involvement in the movie low and make a third one with like Knuckles more having being more in the movie.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and and quite great too. Like we've got the cast for as well. Like now, Knuckles is going to be voiced by Idris Elba.
All right.
Who's that?
Idris Elba was the guy who did in most of his recent examples. Let's use Chief Burgo from Zootopia. That was done by Idris Elba.
Oh, was it? I didn't even know.
Ah,
And you know what? Actually, I think it kind of works.
Hmm.
Someone like big tough guy like Knuckles.
Yeah,
So,
I see that working pretty well.
if
hmm
people could review this movie in a way where it's meant to be more like a slapstick comedy instead of something serious and on a high pedestal, I'd feel really better. But I've
hmm
seen a lot of movie critics like
hmm
focus on the nitty gritty stuff and try and say, "Oh, well, this doesn't make any sense. This is horrible, or that's not realistic, or
Yeah, you're never going to find people who aren't going.
yeah."
I read the entire comic book series in episode in comic book 285 of the 1988 season. This happened, and
I
you're
don't.
not going to appease everyone because it's just impossible.
As a grown man, I like to sometimes sit there and watch Power Rangers just for you know to just sit
hmm
down and relax, have a little bit of fun.
That's
And then
it.
when you watch a bloody review about it, you see another grown man bitching about the fact they had a fart joke in it. Well, I didn't like the fart joke. I'm sitting there thinking, well, it's a children's TV show. At least they're still doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a point when you have to stop taking it as seriously as some people do.
I mean, don't review a Macintosh computer as a bloody Windows PC. I mean, yeesh.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't review a flip phone from the 80s against a modern Apple product.
I'm actually kind of curious why they didn't show the sheriff in this trailer.
I mean, most of the cast was there. It's all quite well reprised. But here's the important thing too. Like, what do you think of the art direction of the new stars now? Now that Knuckles is become given the live action treatment.
This is a lot better than what they did with Tom and Jerry.
Oh God, I still can't believe they've done that. I'm glad I'm never gonna watch it.
I mean, the whole Who Framed Roger Rabbit thing, I'm pretty sure is what kickstarted this sort of animation and live action.
Maybe.
Was there something before it though?
I think there was.
I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was a long, long, long time ago before before the technology was anywhere near what it is now.
Well, considering back then they just had to draw every single frame, where in this it's all sort of a mix of CGI.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit was more of a. I don't want to call it necessarily a work of passion, but I mean it comes off a lot better than some of the new CGI stuff.
Oh yeah, I do like that opening scene where you had Sonic going in and just like kicking people in the truck.
Yeah, he's basically transition, getting to grips with human life, and being a hero in his own way.
Well, I mean, it looked more organic. Where in the first movie, because of the lighting effect, Sonic seemed like he was just painted in, which didn't fit right.
Mm-hmm.
Where in this, it appears they've actually given the time they need to really blends the Sonic model in with the real world.
I'm sure that probably a lot of that had to do with redoing models and everything else in the first one.
Oh, the models are fine. It was just the lighting to me that was off.
Well, yeah, but I mean, their first model might have been acceptable in that case. When they had to remake models is when it was a problem. I don't know. I haven't watched it, so I couldn't tell you.
At least we did get that skinny rat. That was just horrible.
Yeah, from the first trailers, it's like, just why did they ever think that was going to do anything good?
They didn't. They were told to, if I recall correctly. Oh, you have to do Sonic this way, and everyone blew a gasket.
Yeah.
Now I think everybody's kind of settling in. If this works, now they can settle in for Sonic's live action adaptation. So, yeah. On other notes, though, voices. Back to voices. Chris Pratt could have been the voice of Tails.
What?
Oh no!
No.
But we're not getting Chris Pratt.
Oh,
On December 7th, Tails' longtime voice actor, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, confirmed she will be voicing Sonic's sidekick. Presumably because Chris Pratt had a scheduling conflict.
Look,
sounds a lot better.
Chris Pratt is a great actor as himself, but I can't really see him doing something in the Sonic movie.
No, definitely not.
There's a particular style to the voices in the Sonic franchise, and when you broaden that too much, Plus, why the hell should you have to apply some high-end movie star's name to a movie for it to be better? I mean, Disney did that with their movies, and it just, especially with Robin Williams, that was just a real knee-jerk move.
It's so that they get Hollywood clout.
Probably.
Yeah, you know, it serves more. What I find funny is that the entertainment industry generally seems to fail on the word of mouth is basically the advertisement you can't buy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, granted, generally with like restaurants and stuff where I live, a word of mouth goes miles over other things like
social, like Google reviews, Yelp reviews, and so on.
Even those aren't anything compared to a word of mouth. Because you're going to trust someone who you know.
And it's a small town, word gets around quick. Somebody's done fucked up, then yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something. I think it was someone told me, or I read it somewhere, that it's like for every one bad review, you have to have 21 good reviews in a small town to counterset that one bad review.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, it also depends on what the review's based on.
Yeah.
I mean, if
too.
someone doesn't like a particular dish and they had it there, I mean, doesn't matter who made it.
Yeah, and that's something that it's also you have to take into consideration. It's, oh, well, I didn't like the food. Well, I didn't like the food because I didn't like this dish. Well, that's how that dish is made. Don't you know? No, I didn't know that's how that dish was made, and I don't like it. Well, and you just didn't like the dish that you ordered. That's completely different from the place being something being bad.
I mean, I've taken bad reviews from people about places or things, and I'm like, well, okay, so I get a bit of an idea towards what I'm expecting.
My favorite kind of person is when they're like, well, I didn't like X food item, and it's like, you went to a seafood restaurant,
knowing full well you had like
pork chops.
Oh,
like, why?
I know Sniper, you're going to test to that because you've got
Yeah, because I'm a chef and I have had someone order fish and complain that it tasted fishy.
That is bad.
That is like a big brained move. My goodness. Like, to get back on track a bit, do you guys see a few references in there? I saw quite a few. Like this one, for example, that somebody was tweeting about.
Well, South Park.
Oh, I missed that.
It's really hard to ignore when it's right in front of your face like that.
I remember seeing that and I'm going, huh.
Why does that look
South
familiar?
Park. Oh, I wonder how many more Easter eggs they're going to have in the movie.
I mean, there's a some people are saying Minecraft references, Sonic Unleashed, the moon thing and but overall, I think it's gonna be great. And yeah, just overall, like, and it also finally seems convenient too. Like, now that all the main Sonic elements are starting to get connected together, right? You saw that one, that Chaos Emerald.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Knuckles is in it, so you're going to have the emeralds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, leaving out emeralds and Knuckles, separating those two would be like turning around, taking Jolt, and just pouring him over with bleach and bleaching out all that purple.
Thanks, buddy. But no, I get what you mean. It's just tantamount to the whole thingo. But yeah, but it also seems convenient too, right? Like, Sonic's also gonna be having like a real bumper year as well. Like, first we had the 30th anniversary orchestra. Now this, and now they've made a reveal for a new Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers, for holiday 2022.
Oh, right.
And like, it just really feels like it's the year of Sonic
again.
I would have thought this franchise would have died with the Sega Corporation when they lost their console, but I mean, they really broaden it out.
Like, Sonic never really needed a console. He just he just grew big, and now he's everywhere. PlayStation, Nintendo.
And to think how bad the PAL version of the game was.
I mean, yeah, there's been ups and downs on the ride, but I think, again, like we said, Sonic has really aged well still.
Well, they haven't bastardized it like they've done with most things. I mean, Pokemon's effectively taking a deep slide at the moment.
I mean, Pokemon still just seems to be the exact same game it always has been. There's a
No, in
couple
my
of
book, they've
different
changed
features,
it for the
but
worst. They actually changed it to the worst to the point where I did not buy the remakes of the games they just released, which I can't even bother to remember.
oh yeah, Diamond and
Diamond and
Pearl.
Pearl. Yeah, I looked at that and I'm thinking, fuck it, no.
Yeah. But so there you go. You saw what was there. What's coming up for Sonic on the on the horizon. Sonic Frontiers. Looks like it's a game like where the scale and grandioseness.
Definitely is interesting to see that they're still going with it because I loved Sonic as a kid. Like it was always one of my most favorite things.
Oh
I,
yeah.
s- I can't wait till I can get my television set up so I can actually play that damn game. On the Sega Master 2!
And you know what though? It's yeah. So ultimately, what do you guys think? Who's hyped for the Sonic movie? Who's hyped for the Sonic game? Who's just happy they get to see more Sonic?
I'm cautious about the movie because with it being a live action thing of a game, it still has so much opportunity to go really bad and really
Yeah.
shit.
And again, Exhibit A was just Cowboy Bebop.
Star Wars.
Mm,
Oh, the best one. Cats.
oh god.
Sorry. But yeah, no, Cowboy Bebop, that was bleh. I still have to watch it though.
Take one for the team, will ya? Or better yet,
Yeah.
don't.
It's just
Save
dumb.
yourself the sanity and don't.
But there are certain things where you can just say no. That should be one of them.
Cream and cheese. I'd like to see cream and cheese in this movie.
Oh god, no. God, no. That'd just be awful.
Oh, a small cameo. I'm not talking about anything
I don't
big.
know. I mean, I think people are still waiting for Amy's arrival for the live action treatment.
I mean, I'd love
Oh,
to see
no.
Amy die in live action.
What Amy though? Seriously?
No,
No,
I
no,
can
no,
see,
no, 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 no.
we can see her
Rouge.
die. Oh god, no. Don't want her in.
Oh,
Never liked her.
there are so many characters they could just simply drop in.
Mm.
I mean, the 1995 Sonic the Hedgehog movie, you got that owl who's was he like the president or something of a town, and he came over asking for help.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. But yeah, like I think I'm excited. Like if the first Sonic was to go by for me, I'm excited for the second movie.
Hmm.
Heck yeah, I'm in it.
I just hope
Just-
they can keep the streak alive. Like keep it going. Keep doing something good with it.
How
But
many
I'm still cautious.
how many movies do you think would be a good roundup for this? Do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. Like unless their intention is to transition this to a TV series, in which case let's hope they don't go to Netflix doesn't sign them
Oh
or
no.
Amazon. Then yeah.
Personally, I would think 4. If they can stretch out the story to 4 in all, I'd be happy. 3 would be good.
Yeah.
I think
I'd
5
say,
they'd be killing it.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I'd say,
They
Freeze.
could do like what they did with Fast and Furious. Just milk the ever living bejesus out of the series.
Well,
Yeah.
you got Dragonheart. You've got what was the other series? Oh, the Anaconda series.
Yeah. But still, I think I'm excited, excited for the direction it's in, despite everything. But yeah. And last of all, you know, savor the excitement. Here's the last thing we have for you. We have these things, which I have now officially dubbed the Yeet Pods.
First
Oh,
there was
boy.
Tide Pods.
What I officially dub possible day off.
before we do that though, live action. Next question from Boombox. Now the
Get
big
out.
question:
I see
When
it.
will
Get
the
out.
new,
Get out.
when will the new live action of Mario come out? We don't know yet. Like there
I-
is.
He's still stuck in the toilet.
I don't want to see a skinny Mario. I am sorry. I get Chris
Oh,
Pratt
yeah.
is like this
Let's do it.
high-end actor thing. I don't want to see a skinny Mario.
Let's just
Skinny
find.
Luigi, yes, but not
No.
skinny Mario.
Let's just find the most skinniest femboy to play Mario.
No.
No.
I'm sure they
You may very well
Yes.
see people go to Hollywood to riot
I-
if that
Oh.
happens.
I
If
pissed
I-
myself laughing.
Does anyone recall if Pokemon, what was that live action Pokemon movie?
Detective Pikachu.
Yes, that
Yes.
did well in Japan, didn't it?
It did well everywhere, I think.
Yeah, if at the end they can make a Mario movie where they do as well as Detective Pikachu, great.
I don't think they could. I really don't think they could.
Why? Because of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Just 'cause it's Mario, mate. But I don't know. I think it's just Mario doesn't have the same kind of flair to it as Pokemon does. It's not something that you see as a movie. It's literally just stuck as its game, and that's it. I don't really see it being that good anywhere else.
All right. Well, we'll get back to that when we can. But first, we must now look at the
My
Yeet
day off.
pods. Well, Stifio's day off. So what we have here is a quote unquote a sarcopod suicide capsule.
Yep. I might
Wait,
get
so-
half a day off.
Is this something you swallow, or is this something you sit in?
You lay down in it
Judging
with
by
a
the
giant
size
window
of that
so
picture.
everyone can watch you die.
Ooh, interesting.
That sounds yeah.
That sounded morbid.
Yeah, I was about to say.
You know, at least Futurama went and they made it like a telephone booth with steel walls on all sides.
Yeah,
25 cents to use the suicide move.
sounds like a bargain. That.
So, what's the method of life ending they intend to use for this?
Cerebral asphyxiation by flooding the pod with nitrogen.
Right. You know,
So
And
you
how long-
basically suffocate to death.
And how long does that take for someone to die?
5 to 10 minutes, depending on your person.
Oh bloody hell! That's a long time to suffocate.
Isn't there like volcanoes you can go to and like kneel down and you just
jump in,
basically
yeah.
die?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you'd float on top of the lava and you'd scream in agony.
No,
I mean, right now,
not
the
the
hottest
lava.
volcano would be to go to the Canary Islands in Spain.
No, not lava itself, but the gases.
Oh, the
that
gases.
it outputs. Yeah.
Yeah.
People like remember one story of a guy knelt down to tie up his shoelaces, and the other scientists were like, "Hey, you okay?" And no, he was dead.
My background in aviation and stuff, like we had to watch lots of disaster stuff when I was in maintenance, and basically like a decompression at 30,000 feet or whatever, you're not going to die instantly. You're going to slowly go into something called hypoxia, which is basically your body losing the ability to have fine motor function because you aren't getting enough oxygen. That's why there's the mats that drop down that give you enough time for the plane to get below 10,000 feet. This doesn't sound like it's going to be swift and painless, yes, but you're going to be struggling and screaming at the same time because your body's not getting oxygen. Unless
That
there's
just
something that I
leads to-
don't necessarily know about.
Well, there's
Without
only one way
nitrogen.
to find out.
That really just leads to a more panic episode, and not
Exactly.
a real good
You
way to go
panic,
out.
you pant, you'll just asphyxiate eventually.
Yeah, especially if you've got an audience as well. That'll just make it even worse.
Basically, I equate it to, you're just gonna hold your breath until you die because that's what you're essentially going to end up. Hey, there's nothing worse than the fact that you can't get any oxygen into your system, even though you're breathing. So your body's just eventually going to just die.
I wonder what's going to happen with the depression people are going to get who make those things.
I think they're going to be the first in queue, right?
Probably.
Nah, I've already pre-ordered.
Hold on, I know a couple of people I would have put in these. How many can I order, and how much are they?
Well,
3 if you're
they're,
brave enough.
they're supposedly 3D printable, so
Hmm.
that gives you an indication that they're not necessarily expensive, assuming you
Yeah,
have a 3D printer that can print it.
And the gas.
Sorry,
Well,
but I'd still
nitrogen's
prefer.
really easy because you just get like an oxygen concentrator, and then you
Hmm.
just store the gas that comes out of it that's not oxygen, and you put it in a bottle so that it gets pressurized when you can put it in there.
This, I still feel this type of thing should be left up to like the medical whole sort of industry, like an
Oh, yeah,
actual
definitely.
doctor doing it,
Hmm.
because having it this available, like I said, you just grab a few, you put someone in there, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something that, hey, I have a regret about something, but I'm going to go and just end it because I can't deal with said regret. And instead of, that second chance potential opportunity, you never get that. You just, you're in the pod. Goodbye.
The only time I consider this to be like an option is when someone's dying. They're going to die anyway, and soon, and painfully, and slow.
Right, but
Hmm.
but this device in and of itself is just there's so many gray areas around it because
Yeah,
again it's like this is an assisted suicide device, isn't it?
Yeah.
which in certain countries, assisted suicide. Oh, I'm depressed. I want assisted suicide.
Yeah, I think it's Denmark, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I fully
Oh,
understand it. It's something that,
did I just see something
yeah,
that said it can't be? Yeah,
you want to go out, on your own
it's unavailable in the
fruition.
UK.
But
Well, it
yeah.
could be possible to use in the UK,
Ooh,
but again,
sign me up. I'll be a test subject number 1.
hey, you gonna get a day off work, you'll be like, no, like Joel, I want a day off from the podcast to use this.
I'll still get called into work the next day.
Well, you are dead on your feet all the time, so
Oh, yeah, it
what
feels
difference
like
does
it.
it make?
What
Exactly.
difference does it make?
Oh, fuck! I dropped my phone. I mean, I don't really see this going anywhere. To be honest, he's probably going to just get told not to
Well,
do.
I see there being a lot of lawsuits because
Yeah.
because there's got to be one case where something went wrong and their nitrogen supply was contaminated.
Right, but here's the
Someone's
thing too. I want to add, like, what if you're able to 3D print this on your own and stuck it in your basement and,
Hey,
had all.
I mean, without the gas,
Free
then it's just basically a
suicide.
fancy sleeping pod.
What's going to happen if some snot-nosed little shit decides to play hide and seek in there?
Well,
Oh, I'd
I
laugh.
imagine it's going to be in a very specific kind of clinic kind of thing, kind of setting.
Yeah, it's not going to be in Uncle Roger's basement.
It's
No,
not going to
seriously.
be like Futurama ones, but
Even in a hospital, you will have kids running around.
Yeah, but not in certain sections where that would be.
yeah, it
Pretty
would be
sure
like
you-
restricted access section. But
Don't say that. You will still have kids there.
that's where I see it heading is that yes, there might be something where at one point in time something went wrong because from my limited understanding, because I don't know how nitrogen cerebral narcosis or whatever they say that what it causes happens, but to me that means that either you're going to be put on like some kind of sleeping gas first, like they're going to like give you ether and stuff, so you're going to be in kind of relaxed, calm state, and then you're going to be put in here. So basically they're going to put you to sleep with like ether or something first, and then they're going to put you in here, fill it with nitrogen, and you're just going to go out that way. Basically, you're going to be asleep, you're going to get hypoxia, and you're going to not wake up, and then you're going to die because your body has no oxygen, your heart stops beating, your brain necroses, so on and so forth. There's a couple different ways I can see this happening, but, I also see that it could go very wrong.
Yeah, we'll just have to look at the justice system to see how wrong it can get.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of issues surrounding that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't arrived at the age of Futurama where you can just casually pay your way to, to yeet yourself.
Yeah, but we're getting there. At least someone's trying.
No, not, next thing you know, it'll just, one of those things will just be around every street corner.
Oh, yeah. Bring back the telephone booths.
Except it'll be a $100 bill to get you to use it.
Worth it.
All right, so I'd say we've come to the end of what we've got in store for this week. So, what do you think? Good bits here and there, crazy bits, fun bits.
It's nice to have a mix.
Yeah.
A little bit of mix in the news cycle never hurts anyone. The problem is when you actually get that mix.
Yeah, and at least now there's always something to raise the mood.
Suicide pills, Sonic. Please tell me this is like two ends of the scale.
It is an extreme, isn't it, though?
On one side, you've got Sonic. The other side, you've got Suicide.
The other,
And on
you
the
got a
oth- and then
church
somewhere
being
in between,
desecrated.
yes,
It's
the
like casual Friday
desecration
night.
of churches. Yes.
I mean,
So,
it kind of
all
sounds
in all-
like we covered about all the bases. So, I mean, we got all
we've
corners
covered
of the
every
spectrum
single-
this week.
Emotion, we've covered every single range of the human emotion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Close, at least.
But yeah, any other little closing statements you guys want to add? One by one?
I've just got to say, like, it's because as much as I really liked the first Sonic movie, I still went into that cautiously because I didn't know what to expect from it being a live action thing that it is. And I can only do the same for the second one. Even though I liked the first, I can't get excited for it because I've got to stay cautious. Like, what is it really going to be like? Because there's so much that could go wrong with it. So much.
I mean, I feel that's a safe bet for any movie franchise anymore. Because I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, trying to make a live action movie out of a game, it's just got so much more opportunity to go worse than just a standard movie.
yeah, that's true.
Street
And
Fighter.
fair. Mortal Kombat.
All
Kind of
right.
interesting you said your Battlefield.
So, is that everything else you guys want to add on?
Yeah.
All right. It's definitely been quite the week. Again, no co-host, but I think all in all, we're really satisfied with how it all came together. And again, to you, our listeners, thanks for sticking with us, and I hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it. And as always, our episodes are available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, BitChute, and we'll continue to expand to more options in the years and months ahead. So, this is us signing off for the week. Farewell, and until next time.
See ya.
Aw.